Okay, this is help for homework 3.1, number 7, the third part number 3. It gives you some information, life expectancy at birth for men and women for the years 1970. I'll write them down. For the years 1970, 1975, 1980, 1985, 1990, 1995, and 2000. So these here are your X values, but they told you also that X equals 0. Let X be the number of years since 1970. So no years have gone by since 1970, so that will be 0. 5 years have gone by here, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So what I've done here is I've already put these in my list. So I'm going to go to and show you my list by going to Stat Edit. And there's my list. The years is L1. So if you notice, I've got 0, 5, 10. They correspond with the years here of 1970, 75, and so on. And I've got the women's values here, the men's values here. And I've already calculated my linear regression for both. And I've actually put it in the graph already. So we've got, I put a 0 here, it doesn't really matter. So I've got this down. So one thing you can do to figure this out is to actually set them equal to each other, like solving a linear system. So you can write 0.24x plus 65.286 is equal to 0.173x plus 77.079. And solve for it. You can subtract 0.173x from both sides here. And continue with your algebra there. But what I'm going to try to show you is how you can do it graphically. Now this is a little weirder because see those values, those y-intercepts are really high up there. So if I just hit graph, I'm not going to see anything. It's working, and nothing comes up when it's done working because there's nothing graphed around this area. So what I'm going to need to do is change my window. Now nothing's negative, so the x minimum is going to be 0. That's the least x value. Remember that the x-axis is this axis here. X-axis goes this way. So I don't know when they will be equal. It looks like if you look at the values in the table, I'm going to go back to my list. Well, stat edit, sorry, so I could see all lists. And it looks like they're not going to be equal anytime soon here, and this is after 30 years. So what I'm going to do, but I guess they do equal each other at some point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my window to show up to 500 years. Now that's ridiculous, but I hope we will see the intersection by then. What X scale means is how much do you want these little marks to be? So since we're doing 500, I mean, you could go by 100, maybe you can go by 50. I'm going to put 50 down. Then it asks you for a y minimum. Now notice your y-intercepts, and I've got these written down here, were 65 and 77. So you're not going to find anything before then. So I'm going to put my y minimum to be 60. The y maximum, I don't know when they'll be equal to each other. So again, I'm going to go high. I'm going to say 300 maybe. You could go do 500 if you'd like. And again, the marks, I always divide by 10, so that'll be 30 for me. You could do anything like 100, or if you do 100, it'll be every 100. So you really don't even have to change that. But I kind of like to do that. So let me graph using this data here. There's my first line. Here's the second line, and it does look like I do see the intersection there. Now sometimes if I calculate the intersection, which I'm about to do by going to second trace, which is calculate the intersection, number 5, click enter. It asks you first curve, and it's already on your first curve, y1. So click enter. Second curve, it goes to your second curve, so just click enter, and they ask you to guess. You can click the right arrow until you get a little closer to the intersection. Now it does say that the intersection happens at around 176.0143. Now, I had a student say that it didn't calculate the intersection because of whatever reason. Some calculators have less accuracy than others. So mine is a newer version of the TI-84 plus CE. So that's why mine probably calculated it. But if you don't have that capability, what you can do is go to Zoom and go to the one called Zoom box, which is number 1. And you make a little box by, I'm going to make a box here so that it zooms in. So I want to make that box around here. Click enter after you put your cursor where it goes. Click your right arrow, your down arrow, and click enter again. And it'll show you, it'll zoom in on that box that you made. Now here it is. And you can see the intersection a lot better. So I'm going to calculate that intersection again, and maybe my numbers change, I'm not sure. First curve, enter. Second curve, enter. My guess, it's about right here. And it is the same thing, 176.0143. The book asks you to round to the nearest year. It says round down to the nearest year. So my answer would be 176, but that's not a year. You still have to tell it that it was from 1970. So you're going to add 1970 to this and get 2,146. So that's the year where those quantities will be equal. So the toughest part about this was actually changing your window so that you could see what is going on. You can, if you did not want to change your, if you did not want to use the zoom feature in your calculator, you could also change your window so that it includes this point here, whatever, I don't remember the X value, but it gives you an X and Y value. You could change your window so that it gives you a more accurate intersection. So I hope this helped. Again, this is a third part for homework 3.1. It is kind of important to know this, so I hope you paid attention, you learned something. Thank you.